Hey, welcome. Welcome to this Freaky Friday edition of the Liquid Lunch pregame show. I'm John Tobacco with my partner right here, Frank Morano. And Frankie, there's a lot going on out there, but not the least of which is this market, which continues to be plagued with uncertainty. Every other day there's a new announcement coming out. Looked like there might be some hope this morning when the market was up 1,200, but now only up 200 and 1,000 points off its highs of the day.
Well, yesterday, apparently the largest single point drop since 1987, since was it Black Monday in 1987? So certainly some perilous times with all the whipsawing on Wall Street. It's a good day. It's a good time, I would think, not to look at your portfolios, but
No, this is not the
at least
time
the
to
stock
look at
market
it.
is open, which is more than can be said for Major League Baseball, the NHL, PGA, the XFL, the NBA. Everything is shut down. The only sport that is open right now is NASCAR, and they're continuing to do events with no audience. March Madness, suspended. Public schools in Ohio, suspended. Public schools in Maryland, suspended. Now here in New York City, the Speaker of the City Council, Corey Johnson, has called for suspension of New York City public schools. Catholic schools already suspended for at least a week. So it is a shorter list of things that are open. If you look around our studio today, everybody that can be
No one's here.
telecommuting is working from home today.
Yep.
So it is certainly, if you're at work today, congratulations, you're one of the rare ones.
Yeah, and you're with us. We're working. Hey, Kyle. Kyle's over there working. We're doing the show with two people today, believe it or not. And this might be a great disaster recovery
Who
exercise.
are the two? Are the two you and me?
Well, no, Nico and Kyle.
So we're not counting Cece? You know you're going to hear about that one later.
Well, I forgot because she took a few days off this week. So, I'm not, three people, and you and I.
Right,
I mean,
right.
we
With CC back, by the way, that means no more alcohol-based hand sanitizer, as we
That's
covered
right.
yesterday.
We're using
so-
alcohol-based all the time. The Masters has been postponed.
That's right.
Longest running tradition golf tournament, and now that's been postponed. Even closer, near and dear to my heart, the XFL, which we have been covering,
What I
and
said
we're
that,
the
yeah.
first professional sports organization that actually gave us media credentials, cancels the season. Not postpones, not puts it off, reschedules. The season is done. So, a few weeks back, I wrote in my my Monday morning quarterback newsletter and explained to people this term called the black swan, and it's a market term, right? And the black swan means, if you're sitting at the park and you see like this whole bunch of beautiful, graceful swans, they're all white, 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 white. And every so often there's this mutant swan, this black one in there. And you're like, why is there one black one, And that's like what insurance companies and risk managers try to look for, the black swan. It's the one in a million thing that could happen.
Right.
And then like the worse than that is the double black swan. It's like what could happen and then what could possibly and what might ever happen in the universe to the end of all time is the double black swan. Like, oh God, that can't happen. But risk managers and insurance companies, they got to look at that. This right now is the epitome of a double black swan because risk managers could not have in any way, shape, or form thought of China engineering a biovirus and then spreading it to the rest of the
So
world.
far, that is completely unconfirmed, completely unfounded, completely not backed up by any evidence whatsoever.
Right. But
So far.
let me just tell you this, okay? Countries around the world, people are living longer, okay? Countries around the world are plagued with their Social Security and their retirement system because people are living longer than their actuaries thought 50 years ago when they made up these investment tables. So somewhere out there, it's strange, but to me, I think there's some, social engineering going on out there where China is basically, trying to kill off everybody who's over 75. I think there's some other countries that don't mind the same thing happening. I'm serious.
All right, well, that's your opinion.
All right. Well, we're going to have a host of great guests today, looking at this corona stuff from every different angle, not the least of which is Dr. Raphael Kelman. He's the founder of the Kelman Wellness Center. I'm going to run a few of my theories by him,
Oh,
Frank,
boy.
about drinking Corona,
Poor Dr.
about
Kelman
social engineering,
has no idea what he's in store for.
and this Harvard University professor who was on the payroll of the University of Wuhan for 50 grand a month. So there is some strange
well, in all
conspiracies out
seriousness,
there.
the reason I'm looking forward to talking with Dr. Kelman is because, I think people are under the mistaken impression that if you get the coronavirus, it's some sort of a death sentence. It's not. 80% of people are going to be just fine, even without being hospitalized.
Right.
It is the 20% that we're worried about. Now, so what can you do to boost your immune system? He has some pretty unique strategies.
All right, so also coming up a little later on in this hour, Nick Pepin is going to be here. He's an attorney representing 3,000 plus 9/11 first responders suffering from illnesses, and unfortunately, they're even more susceptible to this because regardless of your age, if you have a pre-existing respiratory condition, you're lined up to be in that mortality rate. So we want to hear what's happening with those first responders and what their great attorney is doing for them. And Dror Pollack is going to be here a little later on. He's the author of Rethinking Real Estate, also the co-chair of the Urban Land Institute's Tech and Innovation Council. And no matter what, we're going to talk about coronavirus all day today. That's all we're going to talk about. A little later on, in hour two, Mike Burke's going to be down here bringing us some pizza to make it a really nice Friday. And we're going to have some great Danino's pizza a little later on, all that. Let's take a quick break and get Dr. Raphael Kelman come in here right after this.